Hey there, everyone. I hope you are doing well. It has been a while since I've done a live stream, so I'm still trying to remember how some of the stuff works. So I also set this one up as the ultra low latency, so to try to see if that gives some more real time feedback with the chat. But I don't know how it's going to be, so hopefully it's not too bad as far as if there's buffering or stuff like that. So if it doesn't work, then I'll learn my lesson and I'll change it up for next time. But anyway, that's just tech stuff, and that's just me talking about that sort of thing that's not really interesting. But it has been a while since I've done a live stream. It's been a while since I've done really much of any content. I haven't had a video up in a while. I've done more newsletter posts certainly over the last several months, but it's been a few weeks since I've done one of those even. So, and I'm just trying to experiment with different things because if you are familiar with my posts and my channel and you've read through like my about page and stuff, you know that I am very inconsistent when it comes to content. When I have something that I feel like I want to talk about, I'll put something up. And sometimes I have a lot of stuff I want to talk about and I'll do a whole bunch of posts. I might do a video and then it'll be weeks later and I will not have anything to say. So, but that's just the way it is. And I do like to experiment with some different ideas. Some things work well as a post. Other things work well as a video. Some things I feel like would be good to have kind of a discussion forum where there's an opportunity at least for people to join and we can talk about it live. Sometimes I might do that on the Discord that folks, if you are a paid subscriber to the newsletter, you get access to the Discord channel. It is very quiet usually on the Discord, so there's not a lot of conversation over there, but there are some things that maybe come up every once in a while and we talk about those. So, but in this case, it was something that came up and I really wanted to talk about this, and at least have it live. It felt like it was a better one to have live where there was an opportunity to discuss and see what other people might be thinking about things. And if you're watching this on replay, I'd love to hear some comments, so feel free to drop those down there. If you do like some of this, then please do like the video and subscribe to the channel, and definitely head over to the newsletter and subscribe to the newsletter. That is, like I said, where I usually am going to post more things. Maybe I'll do more videos, but I don't know. So I kind of do things and then I will have these long gaps, but I do wherever it makes the most sense for me. So let's jump in. The topic that I have today is actually Pathfinder 2nd Edition, and so if you're curious why I'm talking about Pathfinder 2nd Edition, let's dig into that. Let's explore. If you follow my channel and stuff, you know that I am very heavy into D&D 4th edition. That is my favorite edition of the game. I'm not saying that is the best edition of the game. It's just my favorite edition of the game. And most of my content is about 4th edition. Some of it's more generic, but if I'm talking about a specific version of the game or any role-playing game, it's going to be 4th edition. So why am I talking about Pathfinder 2nd edition? And there's really a few reasons why. And first of all, Pathfinder 2nd edition is not new to me. It's not like I'm just discovering it for the first time. I took part in the playtest way back when it was first being released, not the remastered, but even the original, 2019, 2018, when they were doing the playtest. And I bought the books when they came out. I actually played it for a little while. And then I moved on. And and I haven't really been back to it. And so it's not a new thing to me, but I'm kind of rediscovering it a little bit. And the reason probably comes back to Wizards just recently releasing the SRD 5.2 for the new 5.5 of D&D. And, that got me thinking about the licensing and how 4th edition doesn't have a license. And it's kind of, sad that it's like, oh, hey, if I was making 5th edition content, look at all the stuff I could do if I was making 5th edition content. But I don't really do that. And fourth edition has the GSL, and it's just so restricted. And I tried to work with it as best I could and try to operate. And yeah, there is a path you can navigate through that license and actually make content that conforms to all the requirements that they have. But it is a bear. It's a lot to look at and try to keep track of, and you don't have access to some of the things that you really wish you did, and it just gets a little frustrating. And when you compare that with what's available for fifth edition, it is frustrating. So so that got me thinking about, well, I know that Pathfinder, that Paizo had done the whole orc license, and maybe I should take a look at that license and see what it is, and see what Pathfinder 2nd edition has to offer. I already knew that there was some influences from 4th edition in there, but but wasn't really sure. So I said, let me take a look at it. So I decided to give it a look, and let's see what's in there and what it's about, and what's the license about. And so what I want to talk about here was really kind of my first steps in that direction, with looking at it for the first time, looking at the orc license in a little bit of detail, and what I've seen so far and where I want to go from that, and how does that impact my 4th edition stuff. So one of the things that I want to mention right off the bat, though, is that, so like I said, I had done Pathfinder 2nd edition way back when it was in playtest and all of that. But I was still mostly doing 5th edition. And then when the whole OGL thing hit, and and everyone was really frustrated with Wizards of the Coast and was ready to kick D&D to the curb and all that. I was also frustrated, as a content creator. It really, I was making 5th edition content, and here was this thing where I was like, I might not be able to do that. So, I was right there with everybody else in that. And so that's where I kind of got back into Pathfinder 2nd edition and started playing some stuff. And I actually made videos on it, and I did some games and things using the Pathfinder 2nd edition rules at the time. But then I hit a snag, and that was that I found that there were some people in the Pathfinder community, and I'm sure it's a subset of people, who were some of the worst internet trolls that I've come across in all of my time that I've been doing stuff on YouTube and newsletters, where it was like, if I said anything that in any way implied that D&D did something better than Pathfinder, the comments would light up with these just purely hateful comments about things, and then people would reply back to them, and those people would get slammed, and it just was really negative, and it was just awful. And I said, I don't want any part of that. And it was just, and it was sad, because the game was, as with everything, the game was fine, and I liked the game, but I wasn't going to deal with that sort of thing. And so, so I got away from Pathfinder, said, I'm not going to put up with that. I don't want to have that kind of community where my channel is being driven by this negativity. That was just really bad. And, so that was one of the reasons I went away. And just as an example, I just want to share as an example of how bad it was, is that when I was then at that time trying to get back into Pathfinder and said, let me explore it a little bit, I signed up for one of their subscriptions where you could sign up, and every time they release a book in a specific area, so it's like a supplement book or rules book, whatever the categories are, you can get a subscription to that, where they just automatically send it to you when the book is released. And I think you got a little discount. And so it was like, okay, well, let me do that. So that way I can just always have the latest book, would be kind of cool. And then I could do a review of that book. Well, before the first book was sent to me, all of this stuff went down with the community and these trolls. And it was just, and I was just like so fed up with Pathfinder. And it got to the point where this is the box for the first book that they sent me. So they sent me the book, and you'll notice that this box has not been opened. I received this box. I was already frustrated with everything, and I said, I don't want anything to do with Pathfinder. I don't want to be part of this community if this is how it is. And I recognize it was, I'm sure, a subset, but I said, I am not going to be part of that. And so I never opened this box. This was the spring of 2023, more than 2 years ago. This box has been sitting on my shelf as a reminder of how awful that experience was, that little brief point in time was. And I still have not opened it. I'm not going to open it now. I may circle back and open it at some point in the future, but that is why I have not typically talked about Pathfinder. So we'll see. I hope I have better luck this time. I just want to go into it, clear that, I am not a D&D hater. I am not a hater of any edition of the game. I think they all have their merits and everybody can like whatever they want to like. I will say good things about every version of the game. I will say bad things about every version of the game and, give my honest opinions as reasonably as I can. So with that out of the way, that's where, so where did I go with this? I wanted to dig into Pathfinder 2nd Edition and see what was the remastered version, because I knew that they were trying to pull themselves away from Wizards of the Coast because of the open game license thing. They had their Orc license coming, and they wanted to put together their own version of the game. They were basically like, hey, look, we don't think we actually even need to use the Wizards of the Coast stuff anymore. We can just do our own thing. So they said, let's pull all of our stuff out and we will make our own game that is completely ours, and we can license it the way we want to, and we don't have to be beholden to anybody else. And that was the idea with the remastered. And so along the same way, they kind of changed how they structured the books. And this is where I thought it was interesting, because for the people that complained about how D&D 5.5 was just a money grab and Wizards are just trying to get more money from people by making it not really a new version, but it's a new version. Well, let's be honest, Paizo, they had their reasons to do the remastered. I get that, but they also split the books. And so that now there's essentially 4 books that you would really get. The 2 players core book, the GM book, and the monster core book. And each of those books is tagged at $60 a piece plus $20 for the PDF if you want the PDF. I was able to get the books for a little cheaper on Amazon, but still pretty close to that. So this is a pretty big investment. So, to get involved in this, to get all those core books, that's a lot of money that you're shelling out right off the bat. So it's not a cheap hobby to just kind of play around with, but I decided to jump in and I did that. And I got the 2 core books, the GM book, the monster core book, and I got the NPC core book as well. And I also got the beginner box because I wanted to be able to, I never got the actual 2nd edition beginner box. I had the 1st edition one, but now they had a remastered version of the beginner box. So I went ahead and got that too. And my thinking was, I just wanted to look through it. I wasn't going to dive full in. I wasn't taking 4th edition and just shoving it to the side and saying, nope, forget this. Let me go to Pathfinder. I just wanted to look. I wanted to see what the rules were like. I wanted to compare. I was interested in what they had to pull out because of the licensing stuff. And that's really where my curiosity was to see that. And I think it's, it's important to know that when I, was first doing Pathfinder 2nd edition, I was several years removed from playing 4th edition. So while I started with 4th edition, I moved to 5th edition when 5th edition came out. And I honestly did not go back to 4th edition from that point. So from like 2014, when 5th edition came out, until the 2nd edition of Pathfinder came out, I had not really played 4th edition. There's a good 5-year gap in there where I was removed from 4th edition. So it wasn't fresh in my mind. And, I was definitely doing the 5th edition stuff by that point. So when I first saw Pathfinder 2nd edition, I didn't have that frame of reference of, anything with regard to 4th edition. So, hey, is it Kurai? I hope I got that right. I've been keeping my eye out on the Humble Bundles because, I know that they've got, they tend to actually, it's right around now that they tend to do some really good ones. So I'm going to keep my eye out for some of the 2nd edition ones. But after the whole OGL thing, I dusted off my 4th edition stuff and I went back to 4th edition. And so then I've been into 4th edition now for the last 2 years. I've been rediscovering everything that I loved about 4th edition in all that time. So, oops, hang on a second. I feel like my stream is buffering. Hopefully that recovers itself. I've been trying to watch the stream rate, and it seems like it's coming and going, so I'll need to keep an eye on that. But so I've been in 4th edition for the last couple of years, and then in just, you know, when I decided to go down this road and say, hey, let me check out Pathfinder 2nd edition. Well, now I have 2 years of 4th edition stuff, you know, in my head of how 4th edition works and all those different rules. And so it's definitely allowed me to look at Pathfinder 2nd edition in a different light, because I'm seeing it from a different perspective. So that's me going into this and where my mind is at as I'm heading into this and trying to see what I'm working with. So let me pause for a second, because I think I've got some streaming issues here. So hopefully I can get this resolved. Hang on a second. Well, it doesn't seem to want to get the data, so I apologize if you are getting yeah, I apologize for the buffering. I don't know why it's doing that. Everything seems to be going fine. I might have to try to reset here and see what happens. Let me give this a go here. So bear with me. This is what I get for not streaming for so long, because then I lose my I lose all my knowledge on how to make the streams efficient and everything. So let me see what I get here, and we'll get back to it. And then when I post this, I'll edit out this whole chunk. Yeah, my upload speed is pretty bad right now. So. And that's the nature of trying to do live stuff. I wonder if well, I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to hope that I get enough of it that the buffering doesn't become tedious for everybody. I think my dropped frames are going up. So, but let's keep talking. I don't know if I can restart the stream. Let me try something. If I drop, I'll recreate the stream and we'll go from there. So just hang on. All right. I'm hoping that things are working. It still looks like it's buffering to me, though. Hey, Francesco. It's been a while, definitely, since I've done one of these. So welcome back. And Grim Prism. Yeah, thanks. I know there's a lot of internet trolls out there, so it's not surprising. It was particularly bad. I deal with them mostly okay, but that one was particularly bad. This is still struggling. Is everyone getting a lot of buffering? I guess that's really the question, is if you're seeing a lot of buffering. I might try to restart the stream and see if I can get it to connect a little better. It shows that it's good right now, but I'm not really sure. So yeah, it's buffering. Okay. Well, I fear I'm going to have to end the stream, and I will start the stream up again, but I will start a new stream real quick. Because I'm going to change a setting on the stream itself, which I can't do while the stream is active. So I've got to end the stream and do it. So let me do that, and we'll do a part 2 of this, and we'll get it up there. So I apologize for that, everybody. But I will be right back, and we'll get a new stream going here.